So here is 500 points of Black Templars for this narrative game. We have in front of you, leading the army, a Master of Sanctity, with the upgrade on it of course, which is obviously a chaplain. He has taken Divine Protection, Fires of Devotion. I've given him the Benediction of Fury, and also the Warlord trait of Master of Arms, which gives him 1 additional attack. And then joining him in the troop sections, we have 3 squads of Assault Intercessors. One of the squads has had the Sergeant upgraded with Champion of the Feast, which obviously gives him a +1 wound, +1 attack, plus he has a Thunderhammer. So hopefully he'll be able to smash through a few of the heretics in the other army that is coming up. Outside of that, we have an Apothecary with no other upgrades on him. He's just as he is, so he hasn't got Chief Apothecary or anything like that. He's just a standard Primaris Apothecary. But yeah, fairly simple, and obviously all the Assault Intercessor squads naturally have bolt pistols and chainswords. So let's head on over and see what Vicky has bought for her World Eaters army. And here is Vicky's 500 points of Chaos World Eaters, led by the man himself, Kharn, who has been given Violent Urgency as his Warlord trait. What does that do, Vicky?
It gives +1 to any advance or charge rolls.
Okay, so hopefully he'll be getting his assaults off fairly easy. And joining him in the slots here, we have a squad of cultists ×10, obviously with their little champion leading them. And over here we have some World Eaters as well, in their favoured number of 8. And I believe they'll be riding in the Rhino. Obviously we don't normally decide that till the game starts, but I'm pretty sure that is the intention here. And then finally, to round out this list, we have a Venom Crawler at the back, just to add a little extra punch for this little army. So that is 500 points of Chaos World Eaters. Let's go and have a look at the mission and deployment. So welcome to this 500 point mission for 40k here. We're playing a combat patrol. So basically the board has been cut down dramatically in size, marked by that black line down there. We have 500 points aside, Black Templars versus World Eaters obviously. You've seen the armies. So let's go into how this mission is going to work. Slightly custom one, but hopefully going to make a bit of sense. We're going to be doing this with 3 objectives. We have one over here, which is currently in one of the Black Templars deployment areas. And in the middle here, we have another one just sitting about dead centre in the board, a little bit off the left, right. And then down here, we have another one just hiding in these bushes. Hopefully you can see that. There we are, down there behind those trees with the cultists at the back here. And basically, the way this will work is your own objective is worth 1 victory point, the central one is worth 2, and the one in your enemy deployment is worth 3. And it is scored each time at the end of your command phase. However, we are playing with the rule that once you've scored it once, that is going to continue scoring until the enemy takes it off you, to try and encourage a bit more movement on the board, because there's not a lot of units here. So I decided that I didn't really want stuff getting stuck, sitting on an objective and not actually being involved with the game. So it'll be on the kind of opponent's initiative to try and grab that objective off the other player once they've started to score it. So yeah, and as you can see here, the Templars have deployed on this side of the board. So we have Intercessors, the Chaplain and the Apothecary, and 2 other Intercessor squads over here. And as we flip over to the other side of the board, we have the Venom Crawler taking the centre ground, Rhino with Kharn and the Berserkers on that left-hand flank from their perspective, and then the cultists hiding out in the trees back here. So that is the mission and deployment. So let's see who's going to be going first. Here we go then, rolling dice. So this is the Templars roll, which is a 4. Now Vicky's going to try and beat that number. The 6. So we'll be right back in a moment with the World Eaters, turn 1. So here we are at the end of the movement phase for the World Eaters, and at the back here the cultists stayed put, so they are going to be scoring that point there in the next turn. The Venom Crawler has moved up to the centre, trying to grab that central objective, and the Rhino has scooted on down the left-hand flank here, heading towards the back lines probably. So that is the movement for the World Eaters. Let's move on and see what they can do in their shooting phase. Okay, so the Venom Crawler is going to be kicking off the shooting phase here. Who's going to be firing at the Intercessor squad at the back there with its Excruciator cannons. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so we have the Excruciator cannon going into the Assault Intercessors here. So Vicky's rolling for a D3 shots. So she gets 2. When we're hitting on 4s. Both hit, nice. Strength 8, so you're going to be winning on 2s as well. Both win, it's -2. So I have a 3-up save. So I am looking for 5 ups. Got saved 1, and it is D3 damage. So let's see how many. It's only the 1. So I do have the apothecary here to try and save that on a 6-up. No, so one of my guys has taken a single wound. Okay, and the only other bit of shooting that was done was the rhino here fired into this squad down here. It did score 2 hits, but I saved both of the wounds, so nothing else. So the only bit of damage done so far is 1 wound to 1 assault intercessor on this side from the venom crawler. Obviously this will probably change the next couple of turns. However, that is actually the end of World Eater's turn 1, a fairly swift turn, but I think things are going to get a bit bloody once things get closer. So, back in a moment with Black Templars, turn 1. Okay, movement phase for the Black Templars has finished, and here has what has been done. So this squad has stayed back here, and as you can see, both these squads advanced up the centre of the table, heading towards that central objective and the venom crawler. Couple of things of note, I did forget to mention what vow I was using. I'm using accept any challenge, no matter the odds, and also Vicky did notice on the playback of the footage that she forgot to fire one of her excruciator cannons, but we'll remember for next time, so sorry about that. I also used the apothecary to heal up that wound that was done to that one of the intercessors there, so he's back up to full. And I got Fire's Devotion and Divine Protection off onto this squad right here. So, that is the end of movement. I'm not sure how much I'm going to have to do in the shooting phase, however, let's see what happens. Okay, so as I suspected, everything I have is pretty much out of range. These guys did actually advance, however, that means that they can't shoot their pistols unless I use a stratagem, which is the Emperor's Will. But I have elected not to do that because I only have 3 command points left at the moment, having spent 1 on Champion of the Feast. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next set of turns and see if combat can be a bit more fruitful for us. However, that is the end of turn 1 completely. We'll be right back in a moment with turn 2 for the World Eaters. So turn 2 for the World Eaters. And at the end of their command phase, they scored 3 points total, 1 for holding the rear objective in their half, and 2 for holding the central objective the Venom Crawler's got. So they are now both locked to the World Eater's possession until I take them off them. However, in the movement phase, we had the Berserkers and Kharn get out of the Rhino and then move their maximum distance towards this Intercessor squad, so they're in very good odds range there, I reckon. The Rhino has then followed the Venom Crawler into the centre, putting himself on the objective there while letting the Venom Crawler walk off towards this band of merry men over here. And the cultists have decided to stay put on their objective at the back. There was one other thing that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the game, which is actually for the Warlords, they are worth 2 points if you kill them. Doesn't matter who kills them, just if the Warlord is killed in combat or whatever, shooting, etc., there are 2 points up for grabs there. However, that's the movement for the World Eaters. Let's move on into turn 2, shooting. Okay, so the shooting phase for the World Eaters in turn 2 has ended. The Venom Crawler here had a pretty good shooting phase, managing to kill off 2 of the assault intercessors in this squad here, and also the Havoc Launcher managed to leave one of them on 1 wound. And then as we flip over to this side of the board, we had Kharn and his little Berserker crew fire into this intercessor squad here, taking 1 wound off the Marine at the back here. It was actually Kharn that failed to do his damage with his plasma pistol, actually getting a hit, but apparently the plasma bolt wasn't painful enough to do a wound as it was rolled a 1. Well, that's the end of the shooting phase. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some attempted charges here, so we'll be right back in a minute with the combat phase. Okay, so the Templars have been assaulted quite successfully. The Venom Crawler made its charge in. However, the Chaplain, seeing the danger to his Intercessor squad, has actually heroically intervened into the Venom Crawler as well. And on this side, Kharn and all his Berserkers, in a frenzied rage, managed to charge in and get well and truly in combat with this Assault Intercessor squad at the back here. It's probably not going to end too well for them, but we'll be right back in a minute. So we're going to do a couple of these on camera, and let's see what happens. Okay, we're going to start with Kharn here going into the Assault Intercessors. So here comes Kharn's 8 attacks. It's rather painful, I suspect. They all hit. And also you got your Death to the False Emperors in there as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, so that is an extra 1, 2, 3 of them.
There we go. And then what's your strength and what are you wounding on here? I'm going to assume it's something silly. I haven't used Kharn for a while.
Okay, well he is strength 5.
Yeah. And what's Gore Child do? +1 strength, so you're actually strength 6. So you're wounding on 3s. Yeah. And I will not get a save.
So that one's out.
And that one.
Thank you.
Because it's -4 AP, I don't get a save. However, it is only D3 damage. So you need to do a D3 for each of these. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 wounds to do. So off you go, one at a time. So that's one, and then we'll just take one of those attacks away that kills one of the... Actually, no, one was already on 1 wound, pardon me. So roll that one up. Go on.
Oh no.
So we'll take a dice away from the pool because that's going to kill one of them anyway. So next one. That is another dead one. So carry on. That's another dead one. And then you've got 3 more left to go, so he's going to die anyway. So that is the squad wiped out by Kharn, the horrendously nasty betrayer boy. So we're going to carry on with the next round of the combat. Okay, so as we wrap up turn 2 combat for the World Eaters, obviously the Berserkers didn't get to fight because their captain did his job. It was very painful for me, but I kind of saw it coming, I suppose. And as we come into the middle here, it got a little bit messy. I decided to pay a couple of command points to interrupt with my chaplain to hit the Venom Crawler first. And I took it down to 6 wounds. And then the Venom Crawler fought, killing 2 more of the Primaris squad off there with the Thunderhammer Sergeant. The Sergeant then hit back and did enough damage to blow it up. Literally blow it up. So then Vicky rolled some ridiculous numbered dice for like lots of 3 mortal wounds, and I had some very bad saves, even for me. So basically, this sergeant's on his own now. The chaplain has taken a wound. This squad lost another Marine as well, and then the apothecary lost a wound on top of that. So a lot of very banged up Templar units. However, the Venom Crawler is gone. That doesn't really help too much because we've got this nasty little band of men over here. But do they go for the objective or do they go for the kill? That is the question. We'll see. So that is the end of turn 2 for the World Eaters. We'll now head on into turn 2 for Black Templars. So at the beginning of my command phase, I scored a victory point because I'm still technically holding this one because they weren't near enough to cap it. However, I then cast Divine Protection and Fire's Devotion onto this squad here, so they've got an extra attack and they've got their 5 up, feel no pain. The apothecary healed the chaplain up his single missing wound, and this assault intercessor has decided to challenge the Rhino to a duel of honour, mainly to take him off the objective. They're trying to be sensible about this, the Templars. It was very difficult for him not to go towards Kharn, but he decided to head in that direction instead. So that is movement done. We're going to do a few little pistol shots off and wrap that up, and then we'll head straight into our favourite phase, which is the combat phase, and we'll be right back in a moment. The pistol smoke has wafted away, and behind it they see that only 1 Berserker has fallen. So not the most successful shooting phase. However, over here we also shot into the Rhino, and that did nothing as well. The other thing that I did do, which I actually meant to do in my command phase, was to use Bombastic Delivery to put reroll to hit onto this chaplain here, because I think they're going to need the rerolls to hit. Vicky very kindly let me retcon that. So we'll be moving on into the combat phase, and we're going to see how we deal with Kharn and these guys. I think it's going to be a tough fight, but let's see, because the Templars are up for this. Okay, so the assaults have been declared and done, and I made all my charges. I did have to use 1 reroll. But not that was the normal Templar reroll, not one that I had to pay for, because I have no command points left. However, the chaplain and the assault intercessors made it into the Berserkers fairly easily. We'll see how that combat goes in a second. And more importantly, over here, the Thunderhound made it into the Rhino. Yes. So at the moment, I will be taking that objective off Vicky because I do have objectives secured with that assault intercessor. However, that is the assaults declared. We're going to start off, I think, in this area here. Let's go into the combats here. All right, so we've counted up all the attacks for the assault intercessors, and due to Fire's Devotion, we've actually got quite a few. I have just dropped 2 dice in my other hand though, so Vicky's going to kindly pick them up for me and put them in my hand off camera. And we're going to roll for this. So we are looking for 3s to hit with a reroll, because I got the Litany of Hate off using Bombastic Delivery. I'll just take out the misses to start with. And then we'll re-roll those. I think that's looking good. Okay, I'll put them all at that side, and then I think that's everything hit. Yes. Vicky doesn't look too. Vicky looks a little bit concerned about that. Anyway, we need 4s to wound, and these are going to be at -2 because I've got the vow. Except any challenge, it gives me my benefit of the combat doctrine being active. So we're looking for 4s. Let's just put these in here, and we'll just roll this other set as well. There we go. Right. So if we take out everything that hasn't done anything, and then Vicky can roll her 5-up saves for these berserkers. I think, oh, one more there. Pardon me. Right, go for it. 5-up saves, Vicky. How you feeling optimistic? No.
Blood for the blood god. Let's go.
Blood doesn't matter where the blood comes from.
It flows.
Okay, I think they're all dead.
Oh.
That's 3 there, 4, 5,
Yeah, they're
6,
dead.
7. Did you want to command point any of them, or are you just going to take the 7 casualties? You need a 5-up if you re-roll one.
I'll command point it.
Get a command point.
Why not?
So Vicky's burning a command point to try and save a berserker, which he doesn't do. So that is the berserkers down. However, we're not in range to do anything to Kharn, so we'll be right back in a minute with the results from the Rhino combat. Okay, so Vicky's having a bit of a laugh because there was a slight turn of events over here. Obviously my sergeant made it in, or Saul brother made it in, and managed to take 9 wounds off the Rhino, leaving it on 1. So Vicky thought, I'll fight back with the Rhino with 1 attack, got a 6, and then another 6, and then I got a 1 on my save, and I have no command points to save him. So that Rhino is on 1 wound, sitting on the objective. Well done, Thunderhammer Sword Brethren. However, hey ho, that is 40k for you. We'll now move back over here just to wrap up what happened here. Obviously, these two, Kharn and these remaining Marines over here, just having a bit of a stare-off match at the moment, having prevented them taking the objective at the backfield. However, not so good in the centre field still, because that is now back in the World Eater's hands. However, end of turn 2 for the Templars. We're now going to head on into turn 3 for the World Eaters. So as we enter turn 3 for the World Eaters, down here, Kharn has moved to engage the Chaplain. Hopefully that will be an interesting fight, but we'll see shortly. Moving to the centre of the board, the Rhino has limped up to the centre to try and hold that central objective a bit firmly. And the cultists have just decided to peek out from the woods to hopefully land a couple of shots on the apothecary over here. Vicky did score 3 victory points again for holding the centre for 2 and her own one for 1, and at the moment the back one is still under my control because Kharn has elected to fail for the nails, going towards the Chaplain instead. That is movement. We're going to head on into the shooting phase. There's a few shots to be cracked off here, so let's see what happens. Okay, so Kharn shot his plasma pistol at the Chaplain, taking 2 wounds off naturally. So my Chaplain is now down to 3. Moving over to here, the Havoc launcher fired into the Assaulting Sister squad, taking 1 wound off. So one of those guys is on 1 wound. And the cultist tried some optimistic shots into the apothecary and did nothing, thank God. So he's still running on 4. That shooting, I think we know where this is going now. Back in a moment for the duel between Kharn and the Chaplain. So of course, Kharn could not fail that charge, so he is in combat at the moment. Let's see what happens. So here we go again. Kharn with 8 attacks going into primary Chaplain. Let's see what happens. So we're hitting on 2s here. No re-rolls of 1 for him.
Death to the False Emperor.
And so you picked up an extra attack, have you? That's
yep.
Fine. So there you go. And then we're looking for, I think it's 3s, if I remember correctly. So how many have we got there? So these 2 didn't. Okay, let's roll these ones here. I am going to be using my 4-up and vulnerable save, naturally, because that's all I have against this, and then followed by some apothecary potentially saving. I don't know about that, though. Oh dear. Well, we saved 3 of them, and there is 3 wounds to wounds to allocate, but they are D3 damage each. So first one, actually you can do them all at the same time if you want. So okay. 3D3 damage. So we've got 9 damage to try and negate here on a 6-up save. I'm going to call this is probably not going to happen, but do you know what? Because of sheer luck, you never know. Oh, look. Okay, well, the chaplain's dead. And Kharn continues his run. Did you want to consolidate into my guys, or do you want to leave him where he is?
It's Kharn. Let's kill main burn.
Okay, so you're going to let me attack then, yeah? Oh, no. We'll back in a bit of the decision. Okay, apparently the Butcher's Nails were not biting deep enough for Kharn to continue his consolidation into my Intercessor squad. It may have been a sensible decision for him, but we'll see. Unfortunately, though, that does mean my chaplain is now dead, and I have to deal with Kharn with some Assault Intercessors. I guess we'll see how that goes in a minute. Anyway, that is actually the end of turn 3 for the World Eaters, so we'll be right back in a moment with turn 3 for the Black Templars. Okay, turn 3 for the Black Templars, and as you can see here, the remaining Assault Intercessors decided to try and surround Kharn. He's going to be quite a tough opponent, I think. The Apothecary has decided to go for the objective. He's going to try and take out that 1 wound Rhino. It may or may not go well, we'll see shortly. However, we'll get some shots off into Kharn, and let's see if we can weaken him a little bit before we go into combat. Right, well, we fired all the pistols into Kharn and we took 1 wound off, so he's down to 4 wounds, so that's made it a little bit easier. The Apothecary tried to emulate the Assault Intercessors, but didn't manage to even hit the Rhino through there. Probably quite a small target for him, I'm guessing. However, that is the end of shooting. We're going to move on into the combat phase. Okay, so we have the Assault Intercessors attacking Kharn, so we're looking for 3s here. It's not that brilliant. Okay, and then we are now looking for... are you toughness 5 on Kharn? No, he is only 4, isn't he? Okay, so we're looking for 4s again. Okay, that's not horrendous. So you need that many, minus 2 saves. I think you've only taken a wound there, haven't you?
Yeah, just a wound.
So Kharn has only taken a wound, so he's down to 3. And I think we're going to see what his fight back's like. So I think you've got 8 attacks coming at me, don't you now?
Do indeed.
Yeah. So, oh no, I don't think you get the. Do you not get the blood for the blugger one on the unless you charge or whatever, or Butcher's Nails?
No, I get 6 attacks normally.
And then 1 for hatred.
Plus 1 for being charged.
Yeah. So
that's 7. And then I get
Butcher's Nails.
Butcher's Nails, that's 8.
Okay. With 2s, and that 1's missed.
I'll take that out because it does a bit of damage to him.
Yeah.
And then I get Death to False Emperor.
Yeah.
That one, so I get an extra.
And then you're looking for 3s. And I'm getting no save here. Oh.
Fail quite a few.
Okay. Well, one of them's on 1 wound, so that one kills him. And then you've got another D3. That's another dead one, and then another D3. That's another dead one. So it leaves us the Sergeant alive. So that is the end of that particular combat. Okay, and at the end of that round, obviously Kharn had his 2nd round of combat. That didn't really leave a lot of the remaining Assault Intercessor in one piece. So Kharn is now master of my backfield. And then over here, nothing happened between these two. Neither of them managing to land a hit. So that ends turn 3 for the Black Templars. We'll now move on into turn 4 for the World Eaters. End of turn 4 movement for the World Eaters, and Kharn has smelt extra blood on the Apothecary and has made his way through that wall, heading directly towards him. I think that's going to end quite poorly for him. However, just in case he needs a few more people to kill, the cultists have decided to come this way as well, so they can act as sacrifices once the Apothecary is dead, because they're going to have to lead him back to his ship. And the only way you can do that with Kharn is to keep him killing people in the right direction, in my opinion. So, there's not going to be any shooting in this phase because everything's in combat. So we'll see what happens in a moment as Kharn goes into for the charge. Okay, so Kharn did make his charge into the Apothecary, so we're going to see what happens to the Apothecary. Okay, here we go. Kharn with his 8 attacks again, going into the Apothecary. I think he hit with everything except for 1, however.
There is 2 Death to False Emperors.
Yes, so that's another extra couple in there. And then you're looking for 3s again. How many is that? Is that 3?
It's 3.
So it's -4 though, isn't it? So
It is.
I don't get a save actually.
D3 damage. Do you want me to roll
Yeah, roll them all
separately?
at the same time. That's fine. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. I could potentially save him, but I highly doubt it. But I'm going to try. No, that would not be enough to save the apothecary. So the apothecary is dead. Back in a moment. So that completes the game. As you can see, it's definitely a World Eaters victory. Victory points wise, it was 9 to the World Eaters and 2 to the Black Templars. I had a bit of a bad game in the middle ground there. Not being able to get rid of Kharn was quite a big problem for me. However, it was good fun. Nice little skirmish game to start off our little World Eaters versus Black Templars rivalry, as we're going to be doing these games hopefully fairly regularly, because Vicky is expanding her World Eaters, aren't you?
I am indeed. Lots of good models.
Lots of good models coming through, especially for Christmas recently. I mean, I would ask you what your model of the match was. But I'll let you have a. But you'll be kind. Yeah, it'll be kind. Okay. Mine would be my chaplain, just for. I think he did fairly well during that game. He got his litanies off at least anyway. But anyway, that's kind of the end of the game, guys. We only made it to turn 4. For a little 500-point game, but it was nice to have a little game after Christmas, after all the mad rushing about, get a game of 40k and get it on camera. So hope you all enjoy this little bout of World Eaters versus Black Templars. And this is Tom from Black Toe Studio, and I will be talking to you all very shortly. Take care. Bye bye.